Peace, everybody. It's Mumtahana with Beyond Clouds. I'm not having an easy time today, y'all. Think about my baby. Trying to still grasp this whole idea of him not being here anymore, of him being in the ground. And I don't know. Someone asked me, someone asked me not long ago what my son Two Clouds what his legacy is. And I think it's there are many aspects to what his legacy is. But one thing that I really pray that people, especially the youth, take from his life is that if you see something needs to change, then, you know, how they say, be that change. And I know it may sound sort of cliche, but it's true. It's truly what he did as a person and as a young person. You know, had he waited around to get permission to do things from the council, from the chief, you know, from signs from ancestors or whatever, he would not have accomplished nearly as much as he did in such a very, very short time. And I just really pray that that he inspires people to have courage to make change. And it's not to say to not have a certain amount of reverence for, you know, the hierarchy, you know. But in Islam, we have a tradition, a sunnah from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, which says that if you see there's something, if you see a change that needs to happen, that you work to change it with your hands, meaning actions. And if you can't change it with your hands, if you can't, like, you know, actively do things to change those issues, then you speak out against it. So protests or what have you, articles, whatever it is, whatever it takes. And that if you can't do either of those things, then to hate it in your heart. But that hating it in your heart is the least of faith. And so, to my son, Murid, he truly took that ideology with that thought to heart. And, you know, in that courage, you have to be willing to sacrifice. There's no way that you can change things, establish systems and such, if you are not willing to sacrifice. And of course, he gave the ultimate sacrifice. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. But and that may sound harsh, extra, whatever, but the fact is, required. And I don't expect everybody, nor do I want everybody to put it all on the line, put their lives on the line, their livelihoods, their families and stuff like that. But again, it's something that comes with the work. And know that if you are one of the rare who are actually want change, positive change for the people, that most often you will have to stand alone. People do not support you. It's very easy for us to say, we believe in something, or that we will stand with, a cause, or, it's extremely easy in today's climate of virtual realities that we could just, share memes, share videos of warriors and things of that nature, and sort of invoke this facade that this is who we are. But when it comes down to doing the work, it's just not so. And so I want to say to people that again, part of Murid's legacy is that he had to give up, he had to sacrifice things, and so will all of us who are really trying to do the work, do God's work, so to say. And all of the prophets, all of the messengers, all of the people who came through, the warriors that we like to sort of mention, from Noah to Malcolm, everyone had to give up something. And so I really would like people to understand that, and I would like youth to understand that your spouse, your best friend, your lover, your parent, your enemy won't stand by your side most often. But it's okay, because Creator will always be there with you when you stand up for truth and work to remedy what ails the people. And I really just hope people take that from my son's life, and not just in like the big political things either. He also, one thing I was thinking about earlier is how he really wanted to be a member of the Carpenters Union, because he realized that years fly by and though he was in his 20s, by the time he was in his 50s, he would have his pension and things like that would have been sufficient for him to not have to work anymore. And then he loved to live on the land, and there were things that he wanted to do. He wanted to build me a house. He wanted, we are Bahamian, so we wanted to work on, we have familial land there in the Bahamas. So, and there's a lot of red tape with that too, of course, because it's prime land. And but one of my grandfathers secured dozens and dozens and dozens of acres for the family. And so we talked about going to the Bahamas, purchasing our own land, probably is so much red tape, and building there, and different things. And so him becoming part of the Carpenters Union was just another avenue that he saw that he could take. But he kept getting people who would tell him, because with unions you have to kind of be pulled in. It's like it's like on a buddy basis. And so people kept telling him that they were going to pull him in, they were going to do this, they were going to do that, and they never did. And so it was really frustrating. And finally he said, you know what, I'm just going to fill out the application, and I'm going to put it in Allah's hands, Creator's hands. And that's what he did. And lo and behold, again, that's really kind of unheard of. Lo and behold, he got it. And so, again, I just really, really want people to know, believe in yourself. More than that, have faith in Creator. We tend to make things so huge in our minds, and it's really not that deep most often. It's just not. We make it to be this big thing, and a lot of the times the people who have it make it to be this big thing so that you believe you can't get it too. You know what I mean? But he didn't buy that, and I'm just so proud of my son on so very many levels. So many levels. And yeah, I hope that many of you will become part of his legacy. Be inspired by him. Don't make him into some legend. Don't put him up on a shelf somewhere where you just pull him down when it's convenient, or if you want to have a good story to tell, or if you want to talk about, you want to have a black Indian that you can, source in order to get your point across, or your argument across, or something like that. Don't do that. Don't put him on some sort of pedestal. That would have horrified him, first of all, because he was extremely conscious about how people sort of saw him as a brand. Two Clouds brand. I've spoken on that many times, and he and I spoke about it many times, and it really bothered him. And he was always afraid that he would have to go before Creator and have to answer for how people did that to him, even though it wasn't his fault. People just have this thing where they like making gods, and they don't put the focus on Creator. It all comes from Creator. All the positives, all the accomplishments cannot be done without the will of Creator. And so I ask of you all to don't do that. Instead, again, let his accomplishments inspire you, so that you too know you can do it also. He's not, he's extremely special to me, of course. He's my baby, my firstborn. We grew up together. We molded each other. And he's hands down my best friend. But in saying that, he's not so special in that no, he did things that no one else can do, you know what I mean? And he was quite aware of that, and a lot of the reason why he did things that he did was because he knew that people were watching, and more than anyone, the children, the youth were watching, and the Ramapo youth in particular were watching him. And so he worked to set things up for them. And of course, again, one of the greatest gifts that you can ever give anyone is the knowledge that you can do this. You can do this, and you can do way better than me. And so that's what I really want his legacy, or a large part of his legacy, to be. That people know 2 Clouds is just a person. And as you see, he, like everyone else, had to taste of death. And we will all taste of death. But what will your legacy be? Legacy was extremely important to him, which is why I worked so hard to cement the things that he did and to expand them into avenues where I knew he wanted to go, or that I believe he would appreciate me going for him. So yeah, that's what I want his legacy to be. And of course, that cannot live without you. So in saying that, I'm going to stop this video and think about my baby. So peace. Check y'all later.